Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from the green and forested Warmia. Today we're going to discuss the issue of animals in the road. When we discuss vulnerable road users, we do not normally think about animals, but the subject is growing, even though it is in the shade of the main subject. Why do we think so? It's based on the number of animals that we have to remove from our roads. Over the 3 years, 2017 to 2019, the number divided here for main species grew twice. It doubled over the period of 3 years. Thanks to the efforts of the Environment Protection Services, we have more and more animals. We have more and more cars, we know that. So, especially the local roads are becoming more congested. We noticed this problem a little earlier, so that's why we already have some results of analysis. Usually the presence of animals in the road is related to heavily forested areas, although we do have a lot of those in our region. But there are many sections which have certain features in common, usually near cities. What could be the reasons for that? I expect that a city, especially for migrant species, is an obstacle which has to be bypassed, and that causes animals to cross roads. Also, increasingly, animals perceive cities as a source of easily accessible food. Another observation relates to the time when the events take place. So I decided to compare the time of collision with sunset and sunrise. The sun is what regulates the time for animals, and it regulates the animal activity. And it proved to be a correct assumption, because the number of events grows significantly up an hour before sunrise, then it drops down and remains low throughout the day and throughout the night. Will there be a symmetric graph for sunset? It turns out that not really. After sunset, it takes some time, usually approximately 1 hour before there is a culmination, which then drops down very slowly. We ran a similar analysis for our preventive measures quite a long time ago. It was in 2012. We defined the dangerous section and we decided to put warning signs on them. 8 years have passed, but this 8 years gave us enough time to collect material for comparison to assess effectiveness. So if we look at the raw number of events before putting the tables, the signs, and without, except for one road, the number of incidents dropped. But is it the effect of the tables, of the signs? Let's compare the events with participation of animals to general number of incidents. Here, the results are not so good. Actually, we have more safety because engineering, because better cars, because information, but it didn't affect collisions with animals. Another action that we are doing, which was quite recent, there's a technical novelty that we do. These are the so-called wolf eyes, which are reflective marks on the posts. The measure is relatively fresh, therefore a relatively shorter period for measurements, and the results are less promising. On 3 sections of the road, the number of incidents after this was used actually grew. As for the distribution of events, it's highly diversified. It's actually difficult to tell what happens with the participation of animal incidents. Maybe it's just because the result was so brief. Let's go on to the summary. Additional signage does not give clear effects. It does help, but it's not a 100% effect, and it does not always work. It does not work everywhere. It seems that a much better solution is to offer free space without obstacles in the road sign that is cleared of greenery and cleared of any elements that limit visibility. Because we have to remember that any signage is just a secondary measure. It does not address the cause. It just mitigates the effects in a way. We also have to emphasize driver awareness. Drivers have to be aware when the animals are more likely to cross the road. Now, we've done that in Olsztyn, and we've had some success with that.